Well, we're moving on, having finished the coaling tower, but there's one last thing to do with the coaling tower that has to do with the things around the coaling tower. And in this particular case, that's the power pole that's going to feed power over to the light on the front of the coaling tower. We're working at putting some of the details around this area back, working just on the engine shop in general. The next thing up is going to be the water tank and water column. But we need to figure out how to get power to this light right here. My original plan was to simply take this wire that feeds power over to the light and find some way to dress it so that it could just go down to the layout, because everything needs to be on a plug so that it can be disconnected for removing the building from the layout when and if that becomes necessary. So the light has a fairly long connector here of fairly fine wires, and then on the far end is a very small connector that can easily pass through a small hole in the benchwork down to the electrical connection below. The interior lights are mounted to the benchwork. They're also on a connector so they can be removed, but they're inside the building and so don't require this same kind of connection. Only the outside light needs to be on some sort of removable connector that goes down through the benchwork this way. So I was planning to do some system of dressing that out so that it could pass down alongside the hoist building, but everything I came up with, well, I just wasn't happy with it. So I talked it over with Karyn and we bounced around some ideas and said, you know, on the prototype, the wires just simply go over to a power pole, so let's do the same thing. Let's just install a power pole here and swag the wires from the light over to the power pole, and then from the power pole down through the benchwork. We've got something like 50 pieces of this old dowel. It's been knocking around here for years. It was even out in the yard for several years, so it makes great looking power poles. It's already pre-weathered. And Karyn has been making these insulators out of seed beads, and we found these kind of shiny green seed beads that are just perfect for this. So I put a little cross arm on here with a couple of these seed beads forming insulators, and Karyn went to work building an appropriate transformer to go up here, because what self-respecting power pole wouldn't have a transformer on it?
How shocking!
I hope not.
Those dowels are really, really hard. I was having a hard time drilling into that.
I think they're made out of like baseball bat ash.
Something.
And then they probably got petrified when they sat out in the yard for 5 years.
I could believe that, because I am just struggling.
But on the upside, it looks really good.
Yes, it does.
That is the teeniest little transformer.
Yes, that's all you need for one light bulb. I love coiling up these little wires and making it kind of look Frankensteinish, you know, the early power supply.
And one of the things you pointed out is on a lot of these buildings, the power meters are clear up under the eaves of the building.
Well, that's where they used to be when I was a kid growing up. Even our house had them way up high like that, I guess, to keep them out of the snow.
I finally figured out why.
Oh, why?
Well, these houses had knob and tube wiring that ran through the attic. So the power came in from the power pole and went through the attic, so why run it down the wall to a power meter? Just put the power meter up under the eaves.
Exactly.
Anyway, ta-da! The light is on.
Yay!
I think I'm going to change the swag on the wires, turn the pole 90 degrees, and then run the wires at an angle from the bottom of the light conduit over to the pole. And maybe even put a little electrical box there. Hey, you want to make a power meter?
That would be a good idea. I think I will.
And now the magic, when the shadows fall.
Check it.
You know, even as a kid, I put lights in everything. And I would just turn out the room lights and turn on all the layout lights and then just sit there for hours staring at the layout going,
It makes it magical.
It's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're moving on now to the water column and the water tank and, well, and general detritus around the area here, crates and barrels and old rusty sprockets and who knows what. And hopefully you're going to want to follow along with that. So if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please subscribe by clicking on the upcoming blue button. Zoink! Right there, the blue button. Well, we're not sure how you found this video on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring, and we will see you here on Sunday. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.